Man, I see in Fight Club the strongest and smartest men who've ever lived. I see all this potential, and I see it squandering. God damn it, I see an entire generation pumping gas, waiting tables, slaves with white collars. Advertising has us chasing cars and clothes, working jobs we hate so we can buy shit we don't need. We're the middle children of history, man. No purpose or place. We have no Great War, no Great Depression. Our Great War is a spiritual war. Our Great Depression is our lives. We've all been raised on television to believe one day we'd be millionaires and movie gods and rock stars, but we won't. And we're slowly learning that fact.
We're very, very pissed off.
What's up, guys? Let's talk about capitalism. How does one easily create a cult of people who are mad and willing to do anything? You point out the fact that their lives are completely for naught. Because capitalism, man. Capitalism. The god of everything. Unfortunately. I have to be perfectly honest here. I don't have a script for this video. In fact, I don't even have a title in mind other than maybe too long, don't read, I just want to rant about everything I'm mad about. In the end, I think it's just gonna come down to reading the bullet point list of my senior thesis paper for my philosophy degree because it sums up everything. So, what if you wanted to do something in your life that's creative and fun and maybe like your own boss kind of thing? But what if every single person in the entire world wanted that? Not necessarily every single person, but probably 60% of the nearly 9 billion people that are on the planet right now are simply striving to get that cash money, baby. And it pisses me off. Truly what it is the breeding fact of no one is authentic when they're just selling themselves. Admittedly, I've been wanting to make this video for a very long time, and I just haven't had the heart to do it, or like maybe the guts, because I feel like this might even be a controversial topic, or maybe it's a very well-known fact, and I just want to shout to the rooftops, like, why are we not doing anything about it? And so I thought maybe I'd just spitball and rant at you guys about how no one can be truly creative anymore. And that's what it feels like. Creativity does not come from wanting to get money. Creativity comes from wanting to learn more about the universe, more about yourself, wanting to strive to be better in your own art, and whatever that may be. Literally, there's innumerable amounts of art practices. And you know, it's just frustrating. So, because I did not write a script for this, and it is more like, why? And can we talk about it? Let's dig in with a bullet point list of my senior thesis, just to sum things up somewhat organizationally, because that can help everything out, right? Before I get started here, I do want to shout out that I had a completely different Fight Club quote in mind. But the super more monologue quote from Tyler Durden was actually in my senior thesis proposal. But I do want to share with you just like the classic stem of the origination of the word snowflake, actually. So I grabbed my little handy dandy fight club off of my bookshelf, and who'd have known there is a bookmark right in it to the quote I originally was going to share with you guys. You are not special. You are not a beautiful and unique snowflake. You are the same decaying organic matter as everyone else.
Tyler built himself an army.
We are the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world.
And we are all a part of the same compost pile. So that's the conclusion, or maybe the epilogue, or the prologue, or somewhere just outside of the point, which is we are special. We are all very special, and we are snowflakes, but not to capitalism, not to capitalists. To capitalists, we are nothing. To the algorithm, we are nothing. And so this is still a part of the story, and it has to be mentioned. I think what it really is, though, is that the fight in capitalism makes us all feel absolutely like nothing in comparison to everyone else who may just rise to the tops immediately, and you're over here like, but it's not good content. It's not good videos. It's not good watching. It's not a good TV show or a movie. It's just not good. You're just feeding the brains to get on with your life.
Okay, we don't have a lot of time in this life, and I personally don't want to waste it on being like a gym teacher.
It's inauthentic. It's unethical. If you ask any philosopher ever about today's day and age in entertainment, they would also say, I don't know what the F is going on. It's awful. It's crazy.
It came out wrong.
Yeah, it sure did.
Good talk. So that's how I've been feeling. A lot of this anger, let's be honest, it's anger, does stem from the fact that I too am an artist. And I too am on that like hashtag bet you think I have 10,000 subscribers and I don't. Like, I don't want to be not humble here and just not modest at all. But I admittedly would like to say I've got pretty good stuff. Within the last like dozen-ish videos, they've been pretty high quality. Do we have to lie? Should we start making clickbait titles and thumbnails? And should I sell my soul to the algorithm? You know, should I have to post every single week on YouTube and day on Instagram as it is necessary to become popular nowadays? I don't know if you know this, if you're not a content creator or anything, but that's what it takes. That is what it takes. Like, if it's not once a week on YouTube, it's more often than that.
It's not like I post all the time, just enough to stay relevant.
And there are the, fantastic creators who do get found and they only post maybe once every 3 months, and they're good with that. But that's the key. They're found. I don't know if they're literally taking out advertising space or if they got a great connection, a great network going on, or if they literally just got lucky, got that lucky universal get rich now contract, the big and famous now contract. That's not the actual quote, but you know what I'm saying. The worst part is that Tyler Durden's not wrong. We are taught to want to be movie stars and rock gods and whatever it may be in the field of our choosing, whatever of those are, they have you will do it, you will be it, you will get that lucky card. But not everyone can. Not every single person can. And so it leaves a lot of people feeling like crap. the other side of the quote is true too. Advertising has us wanting to buy cars and other things that we just like can't really afford or need necessarily like help the environment at all. There's so many things that are being sold that I'm over here like, how is that not destroying the environment right now? The advertising I'm talking about is every single person on Instagram being like, look at my beautiful outfit. Why don't you have a beautiful outfit? Obviously, they don't say that. It's just a subconscious effect that they have. And then this is the same in any field. Again, any single field, you find the same thing. I just don't like it. How do you feel about it? Like I said, this is going to be a very non-scripted video, but I do have a lovely handy dandy bullet point list. So the first one on here is life is suffering. And this is a true statement. I have a video on life is suffering if you would care to watch it. Majority of it is just life is suffering and we have to get past this and accept it in order to move on from the suffering of everything, be it like the fact that we die, the fact that we get sick and old, or just like are poor. You know, this is just suffering. Suffering. We have to get over it, really. Not necessarily get over it, but like, I am grateful for my suffering kind of thing. And that's beautiful. But what do we do once we move past that? What do we do if our suffering isn't, if we aren't able to be grateful for our suffering, it's just suffering. You know, if we aren't able to have a come up story, then all we've done is suffer. And this isn't the point of life. The point of life is to overcome the suffering of man, overcome not just the fact that it happens, but maybe prove that you can do something in your life that is meaningful and provides relief to this suffering, makes it worth it. And in today's day and age, can we do anything to make suffering worth it? We only can if we have a lucky card or a good network or money to pay for advertising. What the W? Not W. What the actual F? Ugh. I hate it. It's not good. It's not good. The next bullet point is Nietzsche's Overman, aka the Ubermensch or Superman. But Overman can also be seen as overcoming man, and man being the society as well as suffering, as well as just everything that leads to our being inauthentic. And so overcoming man truly means to be authentic and be yourself. Some might say you can be like a total crazy person, rule breaker, make your own universe, but we do have to live in a society. Don't forget that. Never forget. So with that in mind, the next bullet point is authenticity. Authenticity itself. How do we do this? And the lovely Martin Heideggar wrote a very fantastic series of books called Being in Time, but did not finish this series because he found out that Nietzsche already wrote the answer. Authenticity is art. You find yourself in art. What you do to create is your authentic self. Very similarly to copycatting, a lot of people are like, this is the same as this movie, or this book is the same as this book. And sure, that might be the case. That might be the, literal, they were a piece of crap and ripped off the book. or movie, whatever. Or it's inspiration. You see something and you see how you want to change it. And this in itself is art. This is authenticity. And taking what we have from society and making it ourselves is truly authentic. What's most difficult about authenticity, according to Heideggar, is that we live in a society. And this is true. This is what is the absolute worst part. If you watch shows that people go and thrive out in nature and they try to survive, the best absolute possible option is alone. The TV show Alone, or quite literally alone, because when anyone else is there, things go awry. You have groupthink, you have leaders, aka just monarchy or patriarchy. Usually the best time is by yourself. The only time you can be your most truest authentic self, your Dasein self, as Heidegger would put it, is alone. But we can't do that. Not nearly 9 billion people can do that. Obviously not. And so what do? We take inspiration. If you want to do something, but it's already been done before, you do it anyways, for goodness sake. And that's fine. It's beautiful. What Nietzsche says about art is that in art, man finds perfection. And this is the beauty of authenticity. We find our own perfection and our own overcoming man. This isn't always the same as like another person's, obviously. We're all different. Easily all different. And so this is why I'm like, why does every person on the entire GD internet do the same thing over and over and over again, just copying each other and not adding anything to it whatsoever? I don't get it. They're not adding anything. They're not changing anything. They're just trying to be like found and getting that lucky card. And I just hate to see it. I don't hate the people. I hate society for killing creativity. I hate capitalism for killing creativity. I hate capitalism for killing society. It's just awful, isn't it? Okay, so the next point I have is simply Friedman v. Nader on governmental regulations. And this is actually, I have an entire blog post about this, like an article if you want to call it that. Do we need government regulations on things or not? And really, the moral of the story is what Tommy Lee Jones says.
A person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it.
And so a person individually cannot take an item. What's an item? Take an item and be like, how is this made? How is this going to affect my body in the long term? You know, where was this sourced? Morally and ethically, is this good? Or healthily and bodily safety, is this good? We've all seen The Good Place. The answer is no. No one person can do that. And so thus, we have governmental regulations. But in this, we do choose a sort of freedom on which part we want to be on. Do we want total, full freedom, or do we want a government who holds our hand? And maybe if we were to like study more upon a socialist country, we would find out. But let's be honest, the internet is the entire world. It's the entire world. And so I kind of doubt that influencers and the trying is much different in countries outside of America. I am in America. Oh, my lips are so dry. But overall, the moral of the story, we have an issue with our freedoms. Here in America, we say we are the freest of all countries, but in true reality, we are not, and we are too much. And this isn't good. This isn't good as a possibility in our freedom as an individual. It is not good. When you take into consideration every single thing, sociology, anthropology, everything having to do with humans, politics, money, gentrification, redlining, freaking completely different health insurances for every human. There's a health insurance policy. That's how many there are in the world. You know how many we need? One. And what does it cover? Everything, okay? Because what do we need to care about? Just making art, okay? Making the art possible. And is this a choice? No. For most people, this is not a choice. For most people, they have to go to work for 8 hours, and then they're exhausted, either physically or mentally, completely strained, and then they have to take care of their entire family, maybe even more than one family. And it's just like, you can't expect this one person to do this much and still have the freedom to authentically find their own perfection in life. Find their I want to be this is what I want to be, and that would make me the most happy. For every single person that works on the bottom of our hierarchy, they have dreams. Every person. And of course, there's the come up stories. There's the from homeless to millionaire or something. But it's so difficult nowadays. It probably would be less difficult if people just got paid the right amount of money. If people were paid the right amount of money to make the art, then maybe they wouldn't even have to be famous to do it in the first place. Do you ever think about that? No one really needs to be famous. We all just want to make art. That's it. And that's it. And if we have the money to pay for the supplies to do the art as well as living life, then we're all happy. You're famous or not. Who gives a crap? You have everything taken care of. What we all truly want out of this capitalistic awfulness is just money to live life. I hate it. I hate it. That's what kills the creativity, is the will to survive is stronger than the will to just overcome man and suffering. And in this, we all just suffer even more. We suffer with our art versus freaking meditating through it, overcoming through it, coming through it. Honestly, it's disgusting. I just don't know what to do anymore. Is there anything I can do other than continuously make videos on how awful humanity is while trying to throw in some laughs here and there to make it light and airy? There's nothing more I can do. Maybe make a book. Maybe advertise it all out. Maybe pay the money that you require and are necessary to pay to be famous. Maybe that's the only option. Hashtag I got a Patreon if you want to check it out. That would be super freaking awesome. You would be helping me overcome man. Truly. I would love to show you guys every single piece of art that I'm working on right now. I couldn't list every single project at the same time. I got a couple in front of me. This is a doll outfit, but it's mostly a clown outfit. I've got this loom I made for a blanket for a doll couch that I'm working on. Yeah, I made this box a few weeks ago. It's a matchbox, but some metallic paper inside. It's got bunnies and flowers on it. Yeah, I've got a little bit of art ADD as well as books. I'm in the middle of like 5 different books right now, 2 of which are Jules Verne. God love him. So the next bullet point says art, freedom, and positive action. And I think I already kind of touched on this in that it's impossible to do art if you don't have your freedom. So to do so, at least, obviously, we're not free. That would be awful. Next on the list, though, is oppression natural? And there's a couple studies on this, obviously, like classic me, 400-year-old studies, not recent things. But there's the iron law of oligarchy. If you don't know what that means, is that we are naturally just bound to rule each other. And so, in a sense, is oppression natural? If it is, we need socialism. We're all suffering under the current state of capitalism, aka democracy. It's one and the same. It's one and the same right now, okay? One and the same. Have you ever heard of lobbying? It's one and the same. Anyways, so if oppression is natural, we need to be paid and make art and not worry about, literally crowdfunding our own fame and freedom. What? Second thing, if oppression is not natural, then what are we doing? There's no proof in it's not natural. So there's only one answer. Pay the people. So next, how do we achieve this freedom? How do we achieve freedom? Let me think. How about we pay the people? How about we just pay people? Give money. I've actually heard in separate countries other than America, if you're an artist, you just get paid. If you're not, you do something else. And that's fine. Some people are totally super happy, like being a nurse or being a doctor. I know my mom really loves taking care of people, and that's like her thing. Art is not her thing. It's just a fact. Some people are not born to do art. Some people are, but they aren't given the freedom to do so. Again, that isn't to say you aren't achieving your overcoming man if you're not doing art. Your art is just doing something else. Your art is being a nurse. It's being a doctor, chiropractor. It's what are other things outside the medical field? It's being a policeman, a fireman, whatever. So how our social structure resists freedom? I think we've kind of covered this topic, but mostly it's we're run by capitalism. And so what have the people done? Be capitalists. If we live in a democracy, we are all Democrats, right? If we live in a capitalist society, we all have to be capitalists, or else we will burn. This is why the Great Recession led to the many people raising their minimum wage without the legal minimum wage being raised. Mutual punches is the only route. And let's be honest, we are the bigger side of the punching bag. I'm not suggesting anything here, of course. Respect the government. Of course. Joy B, if you could push the student loans forever, that'd be great. That would help a lot. But that's just the first step. It's just the first step. Free education, better house planning, internet everywhere. If you don't have internet, if you don't have proper internet, can you get a proper remote job? No, you can't. And that's freedom, being oppressed, straight up. Yeah. If you want to be like selling online and stuff, or uploading videos, or literally working at all online, Especially if you want to have a Zoom call. That's a completely different story. If you have to have a Zoom call, you have to have better than just internet. You have to have good internet. And that is not cheap. But I'm dying. I need chapstick right now. So let's talk representation. This is a big word nowadays. I'm not trying to go for a hot top right now. I'm talking about representation in a democracy. Little do many people know, but a democracy is a government by the people, for the people, with elected officials who are a representation of the people as a larger whole.
My goodness, what a remarkable legacy. Concern for the common robot. You don't come across old-fashioned values like that anymore, friends. And for good reason. There's no money in it!
So, do you feel represented in your government? I sure as hell do not. So I'm just over here thinking, hey, all big welts in the world, if you see a need, fill a need, okay? Because we are all the little blue guy in the movie Robots, wanting to make the world better. And not all the same. One shiny, pretty thing.
Whether a bot is made of new parts, old parts, or spare parts, you can shine no matter what you're made of.
He's talking to me, Dad.
He sure is, son.
I could use the movie Robots to explain my entire philosophical theory here. Ironically enough, I used the movie Ratatouille in my thesis, because we're Remy, too.
Not everyone can become a great artist, but a great artist can come from anywhere.
We're everybody. We're the Little Mermaid. We're Mulan. But just like it, movies have us wanting to be rock stars and movie gods and the other thing, and we won't. Representation in a democracy. If we can't completely switch to a socialist country, then we need to fix what we got going on right now. You know, we need more people that are like the common folk. Who knows? Who knows how we can fix representation in a democracy? All I know is that, like, people like Andrew Yang have fantastic ideas and understand the common people, understand that we need money monthly to live and overcome suffering, overcome having to be popular and famous in order to live and be happy. Like, no one can just get a job being an artist and get paid for it. And yet they can in other countries. Whoop-de-doo. Why can't we do that here? Why can't we have a whoop-de-doo? This is a very long and upsetting video. Probably have to put music behind everything and cheer it up a bit. We're almost done here. The next one I have here is that we have to reject all of this oppression. I think we've gone over that thoroughly. I don't know if I can give any more to it happily. The next one is something I'd like to call a video I've already done before. It's called Returnal of Recurrence, which is one of Nietzsche's ideas. I'm a big Friedrich Nietzsche head, so like, if you're new here, I talk about him a lot because he sparked many of the ideas in my philosophies, you know? The eternal recurrence is where you imagine yourself forever in an infinite loop. But in a true sense, it's not like Buddhism where you have reincarnation, okay? So the eternal recurrence is the same exact life over and over and over again. You are aware of this, of course. You're just living it, happily, blissfully ignorant of every other copy. But if you are aware of this. If you're aware of this copying existence, would you do anything differently? Would you want to live the same life over and over and over and over again, differently? Of course, you can't go back in time and change things. You can only take what you know now into the future, and every copy would have a different future. And that is the purpose of this mental stimulation. I don't know what you call it. Anyways, no one wants to suffer with no reward. No one wants to simply get over their suffering for no reason, right? We all have to accept the fact that we die, we get sick, we get old, but at the same time, a large part of overcoming this suffering is to see it better, is to see all of this fruitfulness, to see it to its perfection, to see it to have a freaking purpose other than suffering, and that is life. For life to have a purpose outside of suffering. If life is suffering, why do we do it? It's because we take this suffering and we push it. We give ourselves the will to power, another Nietzsche term, which is just the will to freaking do things and push ourselves and see to it that our suffering isn't for nothing. But in the world of capitalism today, for a lot of people, for a very long time, suffering is completely for naught. It's worthless. There's no way to turn it, no way to spin it, no way to say I'm grateful for my suffering because it's brought me this, because there is no this, okay? Okay. I get so upset about it. My very last bullet point here is something that I touched on in the beginning, is the copycats. Copying art. Inauthentically just ripping people off, or authentically taking inspiration and changing something to how you would do it. Sometimes when you see something, you may say, I love it, but, and this is a spark of inspiration. It is not always you're dogging on the person, okay? There's a very classic, like, oh, if you didn't like how I wrote the movie, go write your own freaking movie. And people will say, oh, geez, oh, man, I didn't mean to hurt your feeling. But it's a literal statement. Just go write your own movie. If you are inspired by this and you want to see it differently, and you see that in your head, you are creating something in your head which no one else is seeing, which is art. One of the biggest differences between humans, and animals themselves is our ability to think and have a perception and forethought, but as well as imagination. Imagination. And what do we have also the ability to do with this imagination is use all of 5 of our fingers and freaking create.
I know I'm supposed to hate humans, but there's something about them. They don't just survive, they discover, they create. I mean, just look at what they do with food.
We can make anything. Like this little guy right here that my sister got for me from Etsy. And it's freaking so cute, so amazing, so adorable. And if people like that didn't exist, then we would all be buying the same exact thing. We would all be the gray blobs in the Fairly OddParent episode where everyone prays to dad. Like,
let's get down to the business of sucking every loose penny out of Mr. and Mrs. Average Knucklehead.
We would all be the shiny robots that the bad guy and robots want us to be, killing every single unique personality in the entire existence and replacing them with identical clones. No, we don't want this, dog. We want to be awesome. We want to be ourselves. We want to see our fruition. We want to see what we can do and what we can be, and like what can our hands do with the ideas we have in our brain. And that is so beautiful. That is literally the purpose of life. But we can't do it. We can't do it if we don't have time, if we don't have money, and we're just trying to be famous.
Why be you when you can be you?
And that's the moral of the story. If art is the purpose of life, why is it so difficult to do? If art and entertainment run the world, then why aren't artists supported in any way? We're all crowdfunding ourselves. And I hate it. That's the end of this story, though. It's a really difficult video for me to do, a really difficult thing for me to talk about. That's why I didn't make a script. I want you to be authentic. I don't want you to feed the algorithm to just try to get money or views, aka money. Like, I want you to just create for you. And if other people like it, like, awesome. Like, that's super awesome. Maybe that makes you happy. But that's not what's supposed to really make you happy. It's the creating and freaking being the gods of our own universes. That's the purpose of life. That's what makes us happy. And yet we can't do it unless we're fake, lying, inauthentic, awful, awfulness. I want to be famous, yeah, of course, but like, I'm a philosopher. I need interlocutors. That's part of philosophy. I need people to talk to and talk with. So it's weird. It's hard for me to be happy with philosophy completely all by myself for that fact. Yet I really try. I really try. Because if all you get is happiness from other people, you've seen TV, you've seen movies, I can't make you happy, only you can make you happy. Like, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Leave it with that really random, probably from anything quote. Because, you know, we're not all Disney princesses, but we are all awesome snowflakes. And I want us to be respected as such. Once again, if you've made it all the way here to the very, very end, you are a super duper duper awesome rock star, trooper, like everything. Because this is going to be a weird and maybe like hard to freaking fathom and contemplate on video. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. You know, okay? It's because it's just difficult. Everyone's mad about this somewhere in the back of their head. We all just have Stockholm syndrome to the freaking algorithm. The entire world. The entire world. But I could talk about this for ages. If you guys like this totally unscripted, like TLDR kind of video, let me know. Because I could do this all the time. I'm mad all the time. And I want to rant all the time because I'm mad. Okay? But it's life as a philosopher. If you're not mad about something, you're not doing your job. But with that, I will bid you adieu. And before I see you next, I will have a birthday. I'll be turning 26 and I'm super duper duper excited. I got no plans other than like board games with my BF and my C-Star, so might do something else. I don't know. That'll be a good time. I'm excited. So, happy birthday to me, I guess is what I'm saying. Thank you if you say it. Okay. Classic Michigander. Can't leave without 500 goodbyes. So, again, I will bid you adieu, and I'll see you on the next one. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I love you. Bye!
One of these